ADC Aphelios. It is his most played this season with 4. I do think Jinx brings more to the table, but RNG just going to lean towards comfort. And wow!
Well, is that comfort? And
Woo!
where are we sending that? Because I can see both solo laners of RNG deciding to pick that up.
It's going mid. It's going mid 100% Hysterics. We've already seen this matchup, I believe, only once. Knight played it in whatever their opening series was as a counter matchup. I do believe they lost that game, but it was against Rare Adam. It was against Rare Adam. It was game 3. Tryndamere, sure, you're going to get, like, it's going to be annoying early on, of course, playing against a range matchup, but, man, when you can find opportunities to all in the Corki, you will absolutely destroy him. Xiaohu said in his pregame interview, he's picked some things up from top lane. This might be one of them.
Oh, yeah. The transferal is beautiful. So, seeing a Tryndamere this early on the other side, anyone's legend have 3 pretty strong picks, but a Tryndamere is a Tryndamere, and it spices things up a little bit. Lyric, we have support, we have jungle left over. And RNG are going in a completely different direction, especially if they're picking up something like the Lilia, the Diana. I mean, this would be a change of pace to a boring pick and ban that a lot of fans were expecting, you know, throughout the rest of the week too.
I have no idea what is going on, Hysterics. You look at anyone's legend comp in this meta, you could actually close your eyes to whatever's happening on RNG's side. If you look at anyone's legends comp, you're gonna be like, wow, this team's gonna win. They're getting the S tier picks in every role. RNG does not care. They're coming in full force with a bunch of all-in champions like the Diana, like the Tryndamere. I think the Aphelios will have a rough time playing against the Jinx and the Corki, as we've highlighted so many times, which is why it does surprise me they opted into it. But for RNG, I guess you're just continuing to opt into more all-in champions. Get a tank in the support role. We know Ming has favored the Nautilus. That would fit quite well in here going up against the Jinx and the Corki. And then we're going to be looking at mid and top. Like you said, Bin theoretically could play this Tryndamere. It is a flex pick.
True.
I would expect it to go mid as of now, but anyone's legend do have things they need to think about going into the second ban phase.
But Lyric, remember, with what we've seen from RNG, you start expecting things like the Singe support coming out of Ming. More crazy stuff coming out of the top lane role as well. Ben might just pull out something like a Quinn, depending on what anyone's legend pick. The world's their oyster, and far from me to get off the beaten track. We see some pretty standard bans, and I love that there's still the Lucian there. But how do you round this up? Should I be like asking for a top lane Yasuo or something that works in conjunction with Diana? Apart from
I love that they did this, right? So he hit on the Nautilus, probably being the 4th pick for Ming. I would have been so sad if they would have gone for a top lane pick here, just because 1, you have the Tryndamere as a flex, don't show your hand, keep them guessing.
True.
2, the fact that you've left Bin on an island so frequently, I think it means you should be prioritizing a counter pick role for him, because he's going to be playing by himself. He needs a good matchup where he can play without jungle intervention. Over to the other side, though, Leona looks like it will be the go-to choice for the side of anyone's legend. And now top lane blinds. I mean, we have the Gwen, which is probably the safest and most comfortable champion you could go up towards in that role. Or maybe, honestly, that's kind of it. I'm kind of just looking at the Gwen. The fact that Jason Gragas are banned out, I think other blinds are not as good.
Yeah, but on the other side, I mean, does that mean Ben just goes Jax here, Lyric, like he usually would?
My guess is yes. I feel like you probably do. Just get the counter matchup, play by yourself. For RNG, you already have this matchup you're comfortable with in the mid lane. The only thing I don't like is I don't think there's anything too good holistically for RNG's comp to round out, because you have these 3 diving champions, right? Tryndamere, Diana, and Nautilus. While you're jumping into Jinx, Gwen, like there's a lot of champions that like that you're jumping into them on the side of anyone's legend and can buy space. And then you have this awkward Aphelios who is going to have a very hard time being able to get that damage off against the carries of anyone's legend.
All right, so then the final question for RNG's comp for me, is it just about them having good laning phases, snowballing through side lanes? Is that purely what a Tryndamere Jax composition comes down to?
Honestly, yeah. I feel like you nailed it down perfectly. The first few minutes of the game might not be the easiest, but once we get ultimate on Diana, finding picks in both mid and top, and then I love that you brought up the side lanes, because it's going to be all about that split push for the side of RNG, and we're going to see if they can take what they did last year with Xiaohu and do it this time around with Xiaohu and Bin.
It's going to be hard, but Xiaohu at least showing us the hand of Tryndamere in game number 1. You guys thought you were going to get Corki, Victor, Gragas versus Gwen. No, we changed things up, and RNG bring a spicy draft in game number 1, but again, Lyric's already said it. holistically. I want to see how it comes together for anyone's legend. If they get to create that space, Corki, Jinx, Gwen, like, hello to the late game and hello to an anyone's legend that could pick up a surprising game number 1 win. We're taking you into series number 2 and 3 here for the rest of tonight. Whatever time it's there for you, all you have to remember is one thing. Lyric did a solo cast before, and it was a banger. If you missed it, that's what VODs are for. So hopefully, my internet stays with us long enough. Maybe not hopefully. Lyric might want to do another one again.
You know, it was incredibly amazing. And now, I'm in it all night. I'm here until we're finished. Could be 9 games, which if it is 9 games, man, I have no idea how people co-stream in the LPL do it. The Kelseys, the Doms. How do you stay on point for 9 games? Who knows? We're going to find out because we're in this game already. RNG looking like they want to find a bit of cheekiness onto ZDZ, but he's not going to walk in.
No, playing it very patient. As no deep ward was dropped, it was just a fan out in the end. Answer your question, Lyric, they don't sleep. That's how they do it. There's no other answer for that. I think Dom's on like 3-4 hours of sleep at this point, co-streaming 3 different regions, so shout out to him. I mean, Cagel's doing something nuts as well with LCK, LPL hopping in between. So, crazy times ahead, and look, hopefully that's what this game number 1's going to be, because RNG, they're a team with huge expectations of Split, and they pulled out a draft, Lyric, that we're talking about in Pick and Ban. You said it doesn't come together as well holistically as maybe anyone's Legends does.
No, I mean, anyone's Legends have literally just picked the meta team comp, right?
Yeah.
They have a very easy time over, like, fighting for contests over waves once we get to mid-game. If they do get the front-to-back team fight, they're going to be incredibly strong. As long as they can ward out their flanks, make sure they can see what's coming from both sides, they will be incredibly strong, and their scaling is also phenomenal. For RNG, we talked about it, Diana going to be a bit slower early on. You don't have too much setup around mid, maybe in top lane if ZDZ overextends, Bin finds a stun and Wei comes in, but it's really going to be about the level 6 mark for RNG, and then finding those picks and transitioning into side lane setups.
Especially since we've never talked about Wei going to that top side. Nice crit from Xiaohu in the mid lane. So seeing jungle attention to the top side of RNG would be something new for this new RNG team, 2022. Lyric, I just want to pay attention to the builds here, starting off with a little tempo. Tryndamere has gone for the triple rejuve beat in this mid lane matchup.
And it's very common, right? Tryndamere having very high base sustain, just being able to survive the onslaught coming out from Maple. You even have the heal as well in your kit. So, going to be doing this. We expect to see him going towards the standard build, which is like Gale Force, Navori Quick Blades, IE later on.
Lots of
and just
spinning.
dealing tons of damage with this crit. Yeah, tons of spinning, tons of cooldown reduction. I guess ability haste. Now, as we need to evolve, we need to catch up to the new era of Hysterics, but I will miss calling it CDR.
Wasn't Tryndamere on the list for champions that need to be updated or something like that? Feels,
Whoa.
What?
No. He might be on that list, but should he be on that list?
What a strong identity, dude. Almost as strong as original Garen. It's sad to see. Lyric, if you look at any other champion in this game, though, you notice that on your little mini-map, those said champions are hovering towards the top side. Bin gets a push out way here on the Scuttlecraft first. It's going to be clearing it away at a pretty increased speed while Xiaohao's still on his wolves. So he'll be about a camp behind once the Scuttle goes down.
Interestingly that he's kiting up towards the top side as well, gonna make his way in. I don't think Wei should spot him out. Does know the plant was just used. Okay, both junglers realizing the other is here. Xiaohao!
Caught mid-back. He's going to get knocked up with the slash out again. Xiaohao in the 1v1. This aggressive jungle we talked about. That was so easy with Wei caught napping.
I thought the ward would have clipped Xiaohao on vision on the way out, but it seems like maybe Wei not spotting him there when he was making his way around. Able to take advantage of that, pick up that kill. And for anyone's legend, you pick up a kill, your bot lane's getting a scuttle crab, farm across the board is completely fine, you're clearing out vision, and just nice to see the proactive moves coming out from anyone's legend early on. And we hit on coming into this game that this has typically been the bread and butter of AL so far.
Yep. Xiaohao at the helm, and especially when we go back to drafts just quickly, Lyric, there's the team that is running the S-tier champions in each role, the team that has the Corki and Jinx. An early jungle start like this for Xiaohao gives control to the team that RNG definitely don't want in a comfortable position, especially heading towards the level 6 mark you talk so much about. And
then we're going to be seeing if Wei can find anything mid. My guess is Wei maybe lean towards mid, you see if you can find an opportunity, try and get some vision down for Xiaohu. But a lot of your opportunities probably will come towards that top side because you do have the CC setup coming out from Bin, whether it's just queuing it with an E or having to blow that flash and being able to find a kill. You can start getting the Diana rolling to then be able to take that into team fights later on. So we can see now Bin already stacking up some waves and Wei already playing towards his top side.
I'm looking at the EXP bar as well for both top and jungle. Level 5, about half the way there. Bin's going to reach it first as Wei starts moving up, but pings go down. Xiaohao now with the blast cone as well. And with Bin, he won't have the ulti off of this wave, so level 5 with a 2v1 won't work out. The counter-strike in the middle of a circle, but now spotted out. Audacious charge, the wind about to come lightning. Xiaohao takes a second one for anyone's legend.
Yeah, Bin gets punished, but ultimately, I feel like this could have been this could have been preemptive. RNG could have seen this coming, right? Wei could have moved towards top side. You had your wave under tower for so long. There has been Xiaohao makes his way towards top side and just abuses the fact that Wei wasn't waiting in the wings for a counter gank, wasn't helping him, or just hiding so he can escort his wave. So anyone's legends taking advantage of the disconnect between RNG top and jungle once again.
It's huge. I mean, there's going to be a first item very soon here for Xiaohao. Catching back up on the CS against the Diana. And while Wei just continues farming away, I mean, Xiaohao is going to be hitting 6 levels, very soon. And Lyric as well. Dragons up. We got Herald spawning in a couple of minutes too. So I feel like this early game is starting to spiral a little bit with a 700 gold lead already for AL.
And I want to see how they keep this going because you've already set the Jacks behind a little bit. Xiaohao already set up in a tremendous position. Does Xiaohao now just pivot down, playing completely towards his spot side? And anyone's legend, I would expect, always going to start juggling which side of the map they play towards with what neutral's up, right? Dragon's up right now. Your bot lane is in a decent space. Wave is coming in, play towards that. Once Herald's up, transition towards the opposite side of the map. Rinse and repeat.
Easy as that. As the wave crashes in, we've been watching Ming look for a hook on top of Betty. This whole laning phase is panned over. Zhao now going to make it a little bit easy for anyone's legend, though, as Gala drops a ward down. Wind becomes lightning, and the Zenith Blade both thrown out. Excuse me, not the jungler yet. Gala hit over the wall. A good gravitum, though, keeps him safe as a flash is burnt to get out alive.
Xiaohao, though, was just doing so much work, and this is what we remember from this guy in 2021. When he came into the Rogue Warrior squad, first thing that jumps out is he was like, hey, another really aggressive jungler on Rogue Warriors. Came in, replacing people like Ice Coach before him, Haro.
Another jungler's here. Level 6 is hit, and a flash burnt by Chocho. But that's the first gank for Wei. Well, you're talking up Xiaohao, who's been in 3 different areas at any one time.
And it looks like it's still going to keep going. I know right now we're looking at top lane, but bot lane!
Well, Gala gets a kill. Now it's a jungle v jungle, but Gala's got so many chakrams. Gala decides not to hit him with the white gun, but instead the red one. And with Gala picking up a kill, the lane going to get pushed in and Betty to back away.
You know, that's why when the observers started to go top, I knew they baited you. I was watching the minimap the whole time.
Well, Betty, there's an ult still there with the moon falling. What can you do? Betty getting knocked back and knocked in, and now for RNG, that bottom lane is extra free, extra crispy.
And I don't know what Betty helped to achieve there, because you're walking up to see if you can find anyone in that tri-brush, right? Maybe put a ward down. But ultimately, if no one's there, you're kind of wasting that. You can wait for the reset that you're going to have, pushing it back out the wave, having the safety from Chocho. If they are there, as you just saw, you're dead. So, bit of a mistake. Anyone's legend still going to be able to take this dragon, though, because of the fact that Gala does need to reset.
Yep.
So going to be getting something off the back of that. This game's still incredibly close, despite the fact that RNG versus AL would lead you to think otherwise.
Yeah, we're saying, oh, it might be a quick night with the matches we've got up ahead, but RNG in this early game, they're being out jungled. Well, at least until this point, Lyric, when RNG finally got something in this game 1.
Ming just connecting the hook. No flash coming out from Betty. Maybe thinking, hey, the hook lands close enough to her turret where it doesn't matter. Gala, though, stacked up with the chakrams to make sure that they find it. And then we're going to go straight into the next one where you can see Betty wants to get a ward down, instantly having to flash away, but Wei having the damage to fire him off. Again, I think that was just a straight-up mistake coming out from Betty. Could have waited on that play, backed off. You don't know if the jungler's there. You're scared you're going to get zoned. Worst case, play back from the turret. You lose a few experience. It happens.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's such a deadly cost, right? Betty is picking up Krugs right now to catch back in some of the CS where he was looking at the same margins before, However, Gala with the wave set up here, matching quite nicely. Maple's just picked up a package. Now, Herald is up there, but RNG nowhere nearby to contest. They're continuing to focus around this bottom side with Ming and Wei hanging around in the darkness. And Lyric, you can make sense of why they're in that bottom lane with Gala having such a good laning phase. Xiaohu just going to absorb up. He doesn't care. He's Tryndamere. And again, focus bot. That's what RNG care about now in this early game.
I also love the fact that RNG aren't one of the teams who stand around and stare at you while you're doing Rift Herald in this game and automatically know we cannot contest this. We're going to go look to trade side on bot, get more plates on the Gala. If enemy stays around, we get dives. And on top of that, we're getting bot side vision as well. So you're just getting everything as RNG, incredibly decisive. AL will have the Rift Herald, so we're going to see where they can drop that one. They haven't been able to get plates anywhere, though.
You just said dive, and I was just thinking, actually, yeah, in pick and ban, you said RNG's comp dives really well. With Wei and Xiaohu, and now ultimates available, are steadily available where we want to see Xiaohu's ult come out. This team poses a lot of threat to Betty and Chocho, so it's no surprise that Xiaohao is once again down in the bottom lane. Will be spotted out by one of these wards, forcing Gala and Ming to back away.
Xiaohao also having his mythic item already, right? The Gore Drinker coming in, so going to be a lot more sustained in some of these team fights. And Xiaohao wanting to make something happen in bot. The wave not necessarily in a position where they can set anything up, though, so I think a bit of wasted time coming out from Xiaohao. Wei, though, going to be looking for a similar play.
Yeah, Ming just going to clear this board, but after that, after the wave goes down as well, Wei will just be able to walk on in. Noting as well that Xiaohao had the Herald, so the fact he couldn't get into bottom lane means he put another timer on it. And will be spotted out by an RNG ward, so Wei sticks around in the bottom side rush. They know that Xiaohao's coming, Lyric. I wonder if RNG still want to commit.
No, I really like this play coming out from them. Bring your jungle down, get the wave pushed out. They see Xiao coming, they know just to back off. So overall, Wei coming down to make sure that the reset is able to come out from Gala, come back to lane even stronger, because with all that plate gold, this guy already having his Gale Force, and now Betty's at the play extremely scared. At any moment, Gala's just able to dash forward and cement a kill if they do go for heavy trading, which is what you would expect coming out from RNG at this point in time.
And it's not going to be the only Gale Force going after Betty. Like, we're going to see one from Xiaohu too. There's going to be a lot of dashing towards Betty, and with that mocking shout, scary time to be the Jinx AD carry, and the exhaust definitely going to be useful in this upcoming game. But Lyric, set me up a little bit closer, because while we've seen shenanigans back and forth, while we've seen actually a pretty close early game, I want you to walk me through the setup for this next dragon, because I'm going to expect that bot's not going to happen here. There's a ward will spot out Chocho, and RNG should play it wise.
No, anyone's legend. Probably just going to push this one in, start making their way into river. Get some shallow vision down in enemy jungle if they could. Try and spot out where Wei will be.
Okay.
And for RNG, you're kind of just waiting this one out. Xiaohu will be able to maintain push because he does have threat, kill threat on the Corki right now. And then, yeah, we'll probably just transfer into a 4v4 for Dragon. I don't expect too much to happen before it comes out. Both teams having different lanes where they will be allowed to enter Dragon Pit from.
I wonder if Xiaohao uses a Herald before the Dragon. 40 seconds, it will be expired. Drops down in the mid lane. And to share some gold with Maple, as well as force Xiaohu back, or at least get his HP low. To be some good gold for the Corki. And unluckily, he doesn't have the package, Lyric. I don't know if that makes you upset or not, but we'll have a bit of gold to either back on or go for the next fight.
I really like what Xiaohao did here as well, because he hovers mid. Xiaohao?
Yeah.
His lightning comes
Setting
out.
up for Wei. The ult misses from Gala, but still in a choke. The solar flare down as well. RNG's Ming getting low, but this is beautiful from Wei. Jumps into the backline, but doesn't get a multi-man ult. Gala as well at melee range. Messy as all hell, and it's Jinx cleanup time. Betty says thank you for the free meal.
I mean, Betty just profiting off of the mistakes coming out from RNG. Moonlight Vigil completely whiffs. How can RNG win a fight like that? And now anyone's legend able to transition it into a dragon. Oh my god, we're going to see here what happened in the replay, because both teams know they're here. When becomes light misses, they both look like, hey, do we want to fight? We see the hook come out, and then bam, Chomper's locking down Ming, so he's just getting targeted. We already saw the Moonlight Vigil miss on the opposite side. Xiaohao's ult bringing him a lot of agency to be able to survive that burst coming out from the Diana. I mean, Betty just profits from Reset City.
Well, forget what happened in the laning phase with the turret plates going down and Gala getting ahead. Now it's Betty's turn, because Betty got 3 kills, the triple at 14 minutes in the game. A 3-1 Jinx. And Lyric, that's a Gale Force with a Zeal. So, you know what? That S tier pick's about to show up pretty big in the upcoming objective.
So, Cho. I don't think you'll find anything. Okay, Bin is going to respect, but Hysterics, me, and Xiaohao. And for all those of you out there, Xiaohang's our technical director. We're talking in our rehearsal. And I'm like, you know, this second series, RNG versus AL, on paper, shouldn't go to 3 games. This series will definitely go to 3 games. You look at RNG, look at how crazy Anyone's Legend are. This result so far does not surprise me. Anyone's Legend will be able to find something, but I need to stop talking because RNG is setting up for the dive.
Yeah, it's onto ZDZ, but the difficulty is for ZDZ, can't go near the turret. RNG force it with pressure. That's going to be a tier 2 going down, but look at what Anyone's Legend doing in the mid lane. A trade very likely here, as Ben will struggle to defend.
Yeah. Anyone's Legend do react, albeit a bit slowly, is a turret for turret trade, but ultimately, RNG have a pretty big tempo lead off that one, right? They broke down the turret first, they're coming off their resets already, they can start to get vision placed down up towards that top side and start making their way into the Herald pit.
I'm going to be waiting for this fight against this Jinx. And with Xiaohao being such a big member in this early game, guys, like, Anyone's Legend are currently in control against RNG. And, you know, credit to Anyone's Legend, as Xiaohu's behind them. Feels like, you know, Xiaohao's delivering as we expected. You already talked about it in his performance last year, Lyric. What made you
I guess it's just different casting RNG compared to the other LPL teams, where it's been a while for me. I haven't talked about RNG because I feel like most other teams in this scenario, no matter what your comp was, would have grouped up at Herald right there. It would have been like, hey, we're on the map first. Herald's up. Let's go. Let's take a fight. But no, RNG going to index into the strong side lanes that we set up in draft. Xiaohu is going to have to back off. There's a bit of more cross-mapping coming out with RNG leaning towards that bot side. Anyone's Legend having the Herald, though, means they probably will win out in this situation. And Maple did get the package for the Herald, but ultimately isn't gonna be used on anything.
And the timing's going to be big. Timing's going to be big, right? You just said it. It won't be up for Dragon, and this is something as well that Anyone's Legend have started building towards. It's a Chemtech Soul, the most broken one in the game. If you don't know that, ladies and gentlemen, you got to start watching a bit more League of Legends because it feels pretty busted for the individual Dragons as well. But Lyric, coming back to it, before we get to that objective, I want you to tell me what RNG do to, I guess, keep the game going as is, right? Because they still have a gold lead. Despite the kills and the control that Anyone's Legends have shown, RNG currently have the gold lead. They're sitting in the side lanes like we talked about in draft, moving into this mid game.
For RNG, you're going to be keeping this up for about another, probably like 40 or 50 seconds. Playing this like ping pong game of walking forward when other members aren't showing right. Looks like they do need resets right now, but pretty much it's a push and pull. Xiaohu pushing up aggressively to make Maple show, while the bot lane at the same time is pushing in mid, trying to pull their bot lane out, giving safety to all lanes by playing somewhat aggressive and pushing lanes into Anyone's Legend. The thing we're going to be looking out for is this team fight, right? Because RNG have known that their comp doesn't really lean into those 5v5s all too heavily. At least you need to find good angles, good flanks, ways to get way onto Betty. And now they do have bot side control. Now it's going to be about if they can find a way to get to their Diana onto the enemy Jinx.
I like that Ming and Wei are the ones in Fog of War right now. Anyone's Legend have to walk into them and at least check out the brush. My voice cracks like a 12-year-old. See that Wei just sends out a Q. Anyone's Legend paying that respect. 30 seconds till the Dragon, though. Wonder how long RNG can keep this up. Wei out with the Proto Belt before Betty can catch him with the Zap.
So already RNG are forced out of mid. We do see they are being conscious of controlling bots, so they always have a way to enter river in this fight. We can see Xiaohu start leaning over. RNG can start making their way down to the bot. A posture battle is going to come up over Dragon. The question is, can we get the flank angle coming in? Xiaohu is looking for it right now. There will be a control ward to spot him out, though.
Yeah, and because that spots him out, Anyone's Legend is jumping on top of him, the level 13 Tryndamere, without a kill to his name or a death or an assist. Meets with the other in Maple.
Hysterics, look at the minimap. Jax is on his way from behind.
But TP right into the middle. That's onto the control ward for Bin. He's still through the mid lane right now, adding pressure. But the Dragon started, now that the Gwen's in, Anyone's Legend have all members in the river. They turn on top of Bin, who's zoned out once again. Messy from RNG, Anyone's Legend making the move right into the middle of it as well. Chocho and Xiaohao the engage with the Moonfall coming down. It's a crescent and a half, and Xiaohu jumps on in himself, starts whacking away as he pulls out the ulti as well. RNG have gotten 2 big kills, but ZDZ is a Gwen, and with the chase up as well, with Betty in front of him, he's about to send a big one. Ulti already down, of course, but Betty has resets and enough of Manic Bar to play with his RNG, getting zoned out in a 3 versus 5. Maple with the flash forward.
Maple!
That's a big one. Betty can't get through the counter-strike, but Anyone's Legend show that these champions are busted enough to take a 3 versus 5.
And Anyone's Legend might be able to pivot that into a Dragon right now. It doesn't matter that Xiaohao is down. They are going to look for this objective. RNG, at only 20 minutes into the game, are being threatened by a Chemtech Soul from AL.
It's huge. 5 minutes until that soul becomes a reality is Anyone's Legend moves to soul point, and for RNG, I still can't believe with the first 2 picks they lost that fight.
So for Anyone's Legend, I actually don't like how they start this one off. They all in on one side. I think you should play a bit up more towards top, zoning out Bin. For RNG, I don't think they can realistically just start the Dragon. They have to be afraid of your other members being able to whittle them down. But once the initial engage comes out, we see RNG's comp does lose a lot of steam. They need people like Tryndamere and Jax to be able to stick on targets. They aren't able to do that. Maple and Betty just hiding them out, keeping them from a range, and they continue going forward. Without Xiaohu having ultimate, he knows he can't go in, and beautiful rocket coming out from Maple to finish off that kill. And now for Anyone's Legend, just rinse and repeat. Catch waves for the next 4 minutes and 9 seconds. You don't need to get caught out in the side lane. You don't need to push all too far. Wait for the next Dragon, have that formation again, and hopefully Maple will save his package for that timing where they will have a lot more favorable odds of a... Oh God.
Well, to be fair, every 4 minutes, right? So Maple will technically have his package next time. You know, they're gonna cut him a bone somewhere. He just needs to use it first, because the cooldown goes down as you use it, I believe. Am I correct?
Yep.
Yep, okay, so use it soon, just so you get it in 4 minutes time.
Yeah, he did just use it to clear out a wave,
Awesome.
so that one's down. Cool. And now the ball is in RNG's court, right? We just hit on what Anyone's Legend needs to do, or Al. I'm kind of done calling him AL because Al sounds way cooler.
Al is
We're
cool.
gonna see what we already know what Al need to do now. For RNG, I mean, you're the team kind of trying to pull them out. You're trying to get them in side lanes.
Well, maybe Chocho wants to take him first. Wei actually gets caught out golden with the rest of Al in the middle. Goodbye. Betty takes a kill, and now, you know what? Forget the Dragon. Baron is an objective because there's no jungler on RNG.
Oh, and yeah, they're going to be able to look for this one so easily. Xiaohu can try and put a lot of pressure on them. He does have that ultimate available, but Maple just doing so much with these rockets and extended standoffs.
In comparison to Al, there's so much poke coming through here from them, and RNG going into the middle. On top, Ming gets the knock-up. Someone needs to hit the Baron, but there's a smite there, so Xiaohao, of course, gets it with ease. Xiaohu pulls out his own ultimate, but over the wall, a spinning splash gets him to safety. Undying Rage is down, and Bin with the counter-strike wants something, but gets nothing. Betty in the pit as well, because nothing else matters except that RNG lost the Baron, and Anyone's Legend have taken control again of Game 1.
Anyone's Legend just holding strong. Mistakes coming out from the side of RNG as well. 2 for 2 in the end, but that Baron is going to make such a big difference, especially to set up the map control that you want going into a soul fight. You can get the vision down first. They won't be able to find those flanks or find those situations that they just brought you into, like we saw in the last Dragon fight. We're going to get the replay here. I mean, it's a 5v4. Anyone's Legend should be expected to get this Dragon. Xiaohu, though, is all in on Maple, flashes into him, so he is able to secure that kill. But like you said, there's no smite on the side of RNG, so Anyone's Legend's like, we're going to lose a member, I guess. Just stay on point with the Baron. We'll let our support try and zone them away. And then they look for the initial turn. They are able to get the Jax, but also trade one member in doing so.
It's Gala who picks up 1 kill at the end, which is notable, but not notable enough. Anyone's Legend with the Baron once again. They're 1,000 gold up, and we're going to see how far they can push it, because Lyric, this Baron will time into the Dragon. And giving control of side lanes and mid lane, of course, to Anyone's Legend makes it so much easier for this objective to fall into their hands.
I love that you highlight the side lanes, because if we think back to the last Dragon, the way that RNG were able to kind of bring it back was by being like, hey, we're just going to lose if we just stand in the pit or wait to push mid. Let's just have our Tryndamere split push bot so we can play through that avenue. Now with the Baron buff, anyone's Legend can make sure that RNG aren't able to do that, keep full control over bot lane as well as buffing up those Barons in mid. You're going to lose some turrets on the opposite side to Bin, but you're going to secure yourself a Chemtech Dragon. Chemtech Dragon Soul. I will let all of you out there decide which is better.
Oh, we know the answer, especially against the Tryndamere. The ability to come back and make sure that Xiaohu doesn't take another is going to be pretty huge. For anyone's Legend, as huge as the turrets they're taking as well. Look at where RNG are trying to group up in the mid lane and get the flank, but anyone's Legend are backing off. Dragons up in 15 seconds, a Soul available. And Royal never give up. This is not the championship team. You remember, this is not the MSI champions of 2021. This team's struggling against what we thought was a bottom tier team, but anyone's Legend bringing the fire, bringing the party. Lyric, it's Dragon time.
RNG playing with the Chemtech Fog. They might be able to turn and catch out ZDZ, but they don't even realize that he's there.
They're actually back on top of Xiaohu. Xiaohao jumps on in, and that is very hard to say in a team fight, so wish me luck. I want to see Wei's ult, and then Gala clean up the rest. Xiaohu still with his flank, another member to look out for, but RNG are split up, and anyone's Legend are grouped up themselves.
And RNG need to play like this, right? You need to try and come at them from different angles to find those flanks, to find access to the backline. Anyone's Legend doing pretty well to make sure that doesn't happen.
The target as Crescendo comes through. Once again, the Soul Flare into the backline, knockups too, but anyone's Legend have traded the kill. The jungler down is going to be big. Anyone's Legend know that they can't get the dragon. They're looking for the fight instead, but Wei's in the pit by himself. The smite needs to come through. It's taken by Gwen! CDC! He got the dragon! CDC faced the smite, and he won! Anyone's Legend now with the Soul, and Bin is literally alone in the jungle. This is not Tarzan. This is literally the dude with the shotgun that dies at the end of the movie.
Oh my god. RNG are getting outfighted by anyone's Legend. They're getting outsmited by a Gwen. This was not what I expected for the game to go, right? We thought, hey, anyone's Legend can win a game. I didn't think it would be in such a decisive manner as well. We're gonna see how the fight comes out. RG still feeling pressure from the fact that anyone's Legend are sending them off. The Moonlight Vigil comes out, but QiuQiu instantly getting onto Wei. They do end up trading jungle for support to start things off, which definitely favors the side of RNG. But again, these extended standoffs just favor anyone's Legend being able to put out this poke. Look at Xiaohu's health bar, look at Aphelios, but now we're gonna look at what happens with Wei. Oh, did QiuQiu stun him right at the same time?
So he gets fine. And Gwen just bursted down. Well, Chemtech Dragon, the Soul is theirs, and Lyric, I can't believe what I'm seeing, dude. You're right. We're either going to a game number 3 or anyone's Legend is surprising the heck out of us tonight.
And now they are going to have this nice Soul. They're going to be zombies. They already have the Chemtech Fog to abuse and try and make sure RNG don't have an easy time of forcing their way into this topside jungle. And now for anyone's Legend, it's like, hey, looks like they're going to play out through a 3-lane setup, not being too afraid of RNG's all-in. Sync up, you know, your side waves with mid. They're still waiting on CDZ to get that one pushed out. Probably going to be another few waves mid before we can see anything happen. And Baron will be up quite soon, which you could try and set up a pick around. Okay. For anyone's Legend, I think you should feel like you're in a pretty dominant position in terms of fights. But surprisingly, Hysterics, gold is even.
Somehow. Like, even enough where we're not saying anyone's Legend is smacking away with it. 2,000 gold. And RNG through this side laning we talked about with Bin getting turrets, a CS lead now in the form of 50. Look at Xiaohu in the mid lane. He's almost 50 up as well. Gala's up too. It does feel like RNG are holding on, but again, we're still going to look at the problem with the Dragon Soul, with the control that anyone's Legend are holding out. I think you need to tell me how, again, RNG can find some methodology to this madness in this first game, and how they can force anyone's Legend to walk away from Baron or have to fight on their terms in a side lane.
I think it's just going to come from being decisive, right? It's going to... Summoner spells are so critical in this game, as well as stopwatches, because of the way RNG's comp functions of the Diana and the Moonlight Vigil kind of being this combo to just explode members. So looking at those, we have 2 stopwatches on the primary carries of AL. Though Betty does not have flash, so it does open an opportunity. And then it's like, hey, if you can blow those, let's say this fight, next fight you come in, Wei commits a flash, you just try your best to coin flip, get straight onto Betty and explode him. Because if you go for what we've seen, where it's like, hey, trying to find those right angles, trying to rely on anyone's legend not checking their flanks or their sides, the extended standoffs are just going to favor AL. So you're just going to have to look to pull the trigger immediately before you get chunked out.
Problem is, the poke is going to chunk you out immediately, right? Maple is at that point with 3 items, Ravenous Hydra picked up. The stopwatches I find really interesting that you're mentioning, especially now that ZDZ also has a Zhonya's Hourglass. There's a lot of time buying and the ability to create that space that you talk so heavily about with anyone's legend when their comp was, 0 minutes in. And now as anyone legend start up the Baron here, Lyric, control wards be damned. RNG have to walk in, and Maple's already off to poke out the enemy jungler.
Maple doing his job so far. We're going to keep an eye on Xiaohu trying to come around from the opposite side. If Xiaohu can find a way onto Betty, this is a winnable fight. Again, this standoff going to be rough. Ming, no flash.
Waves on the back of the pit. Look where the CC is, though. Against the Tryndamere, no. He's going to get the flanking angles. The ult from Ming buys the stopwatch, but Xiaohu now caught out with Gale Force on top of Betty. He's knocked up right into the ulti. The Undying Rage it does work, but Betty gets away. Xiaohao on his tail, and anyone's legend coming together so perfectly. Wei does not know the way with a triple kill going over to Betty. But you know what? With him still alive and RNG 2 low health members, a Penta on the horizon, maybe not. Lyric, I can't believe my eyes once again. Anyone's legend are giving it to them.
Anyone's legend are actually going to be able to push for an inhibitor here. That kiting from Betty to get away from Xiaohu was beautiful. And I mean, with death timers about 20 seconds, I wonder if anyone's legend will try and commit to an end. No, they are going to do the safer play. They are going to back off. I wonder if they'll go straight for the Baron. They should be able to do it with how fast they can. Resetting maybe would be a bit safer. But we need to keep our eyes on timers as well, right? Because Elder is coming up in 50 seconds. For RNG, you probably just make your way down towards that bottom side, start getting vision down now. Concede the fact that AL can take the Baron as they please.
Well, it's going to be down immediately. See you later to the Baron. Elder in 35 seconds, as Lyric has told you. And this game number 1, before we get to that Elder, I just have to say, it's Xiao difference. But which Xiao? Xiaohu or Xiaohao? I think it's Xiaohao, easy to say.
Yeah, I mean, we see here anyone's legend bringing them in. Xiaohu trying to get on the back line, not able to do it. Xiaohao, nice knockouts. And like I said, Betty, amazing job to be able to kite away. Xiaohao knowing his role as well, hiding and protecting his AD carry, looking to peel, which was the right word. And then on the opposite side of the fight, be able to like, oh, you guys realize Betty's massive, you're just chasing him down. I'm still a 3-item Corki. I'm still going to be able to burst the rest of you out. And Hysterics, Elder is up. A lot of those summoners are down, though, that we critically talked about. But most importantly, GA now on Betty.
Okay, well, that GA is going to have to be popped before we do anything. And the package is there, Lyric. Orc sitting somewhere saying, wow, that's a lot of Corki damage, and the package on the right target as Ben's over the wall. Gets 2-man counter-strike, but Maple, if you can't use it, it doesn't matter. Way with the ulti as well as RNG kite on back, but anyone's legend targeting them down. Ben hitting from the side, though. Betty still free hitting himself, and that's big news. Betty, once again, another triple. And you know what? It looks so good for RNG, but the explosion happened all too fast.
And it looked like RNG found something. Maple walking into it, but like you said, Betty stays alive. Betty takes over. This looks to be a 2 versus 4 defense coming out from RNG if they want to stay alive.
Well, for Xiaohu, he still has the ultimate as well, but he's going to run on in now. The GA still not popped as anyone's legend. Bring 4 people up to the turret, fight under the turret, or give up the game. Who cares about your KDA? It's ending on top of the net as Xiaohu with the ulti popped, and they just know it's over. He'll pick up a kill, but the real winners are anyone's legend who blast out RNG in game 1.
I believe I said it in draft. If you would have just covered up RNG's pick ban, like anyone's Legends champs could have been versus anything. You were looking at it and like, wow, how'd you get this, and this on 12.1? What did this side take? And we saw there. I was telling Mazel earlier, I don't hate Corki. I hate when you get Corki and Jinx together. Then you throw in a Xin Zhao with that as well. We see what RNG picked, and it's like, man, it came together. RNG did try very hard to play towards their conditions. We saw them giving early objectives, playing towards some of these sides. Sadly, though, they were never able to find early picks with that Moonfall like we were highlighting. And then from there on, anyone's Legends started stacking dragons early enough to where RNG side lanes lost so much steam.
That's right. We didn't get to ever see like the 1-3-1 in action. Sure, Bin and Xiaohu were able to move through those lanes up to a tier 1, maybe a tier 2 for the bottom side. But It didn't matter that those lanes were open. We didn't get to see the solo queue Tryndamere that wins games through the trades. They were forced to come to these objectives, Luke. You hit the nail on the head. The early dragon stacking, the forced team fights on anyone's Legends term. Really well played, and I think understanding that their composition wanted exactly what they went out for.
And they just had an easier to execute comp in my mind as well. We even said after, I think it was the third Drake, we're like, okay, well, we know Al now is just going to chill, kick their feet back, have a nice cup of some breakfast tea, and wait for the next timer to come up. I guess in that situation they didn't, because we instantly saw RNG make a mistake, and I think it was Ming who got caught out by QiuQiu. But we hit on the early aggression. Anyone's Legend, they love looking for these plays. Xiaohao just going everywhere. Specifically playing towards that bot lane is what they like to do, and they did do it here once again. And then they had a very clear identity going into the mid game that set them up. And RNG, sadly, again, by the time it seemed like they knew exactly what to do. It's like so many dragons were stacked up. It was just too late. Even when Xiaohu found ways onto Betty, right? They just had so many ways to kite him off. Betty, flash, into Gale Force, into the W. Oh wait, Xiaohao realizes too. He's gonna win becomes lightning in and also knock Xiaohu up. So they were never able to find that easy access onto the backline.
Look at QiuQiu did more damage than the Tryndamere or the Jax. I mean, we're in a 33-minute game, but granted, that's how little the solo laners of RNG did, and we got so excited about this draft. I like how you were like, well, take the nameplates off. It actually feels like anyone's Legend, you know, got away with so much for RNG to try something very dangerous. And the fact that the Leona did more damage in the end is a simple, a basic stat, but an important one to show that these guys were not impactful in game number 1. And I feel like RNG will completely toss this aside for game 2, Lyric, because, you know, it's RNG and they're meant to be a top team. They know what wins games, and I guess that wasn't it.
I feel like this is a game where you go back to the waiting room and you guys are like, okay, well, we tried this really like quirky, cool composition that like maybe could have worked out. It didn't. Time to pick something a bit more in line, try to like bring things more together, and we're still going to be keeping our eyes on how RNG work with incorporating bin, if at all.
Well, let's see, because right now for RNG, a couple of problems again with 1, but anyone's Legend. The smoke's not even cleared just yet with a game 1 win. When we go to this break, take a pause, think about the cool panda logo, and come back and tell us how many mojo points out of 10 they deserve for that win. Take a small break. We'll see you soon.